In our latest Pleidian live stream, we sort of touched upon quite a few times this relationship between the creation of man and the Pleiadian race and those other seed races, but I thought it might be interesting to get the entire story in one take, or at least what they want to bring forward at this present moment. Also, the first entity or energy I ever vocal channeled was someone calling themselves the Blue Pleidians, and I haven't brought them through in quite a while, so I thought it might be interesting to get them to try to explain who they are and how mankind was created. Starlight and love, blessings and love, guidance and love. Peace and understanding from above. Our radiant light, it reaches you, it caresses you, and it lets you remember exactly who you are and where you come from. To understand our energy better, to understand this entity contacting you now, known as the Blue Pleiadians. It is but words that you use to describe us, but it is words that we find apt in your description of us, as we are composed of that type of starshine that is both blue and white in its presence. We are a twin-like energy of star consciousnesses, seated in the stars of Alcyone and Maya in the Pleiadian constellation. What was the case then, a long, long time ago? From our perspective, as we are speaking to you from your future, what was the case was that several different races, one a race of humanoids centering or living on a planet circling the star of Alcyone, and another a race of dragon-like beings circling the star of Maya. Both finished their progress into the non-physical and merged into this consciousness of starlight you could think of as eighth dimensional. We reside in that beaming exuberance that became our nature after we uncovered the mysteries of infinite energy within our being. And now our light, it guides you and radiates out through the spheres and into many different worlds to transmit our knowledge and wisdom, our love, and soft, wayfaring energies, the types of energies that touch you and reach your soul on a star-spangled dark night sky. You have asked us to describe how mankind came to be from the perspective of our dual star consciousness, but also from that perspective we incorporate of that race you know by shorthand as the Pleidians, those hominids with those pale and blonde-haired features. They created you first, as all seed races are created, by fashioning a template for humankind and then deepening it with the transferal of energies and intentions. What they had begun to master in their own right, and what had been mastered by that race, the Arcturians, which had founded them before, was the technology of sacral genetics. That is the expression we will give to it in order to make you understand that it is not a mechanical programming that took place, or in any type a factory-made production line that was brought forward of human beings. Instead, we brought forth when we were then incarnate as a race on that planet, living at the peak of our fifth dimensional experience. We brought forth the collected concentration, understanding, and experience of our kind and those kinds that had gone before us, and those races that we were in contact with and that were lending their energies, knowledge, and wisdom, their technologies and assistance to this unfolding. We gathered up all this, and from it we distilled those experiences that we felt had been out of balance in our own unfolding and experiment as a life form. We had thought that passions had run amok between us on our planet, the Arcturians having instilled more emotion that they themselves were usually pleasant with unfolding or experimenting with. And so we were to them far more passionate creatures, and we acted out patterns that were far more impulsive in their destructive outlets. We decided to amplify this feature in the human race. We decided to build a race that would have even stronger emotional currents running within it. And we decided that it would be best to attempt to grow this race from the energies close to that planetary consciousness, or we mean of course astral or solar consciousness of Helios, your sun disk, which radiates a light that is quite volatile in its excitation of the humus, in its movement of matter, in its activation of life processes, compared to that light that shines through our own constellation and through our own planetary systems. It was determined that this creature would have a higher level of procreational energy, and it would also be both more vulnerable to, but also more adaptable to, the comings and goings of different diseases, plagues, and disruptions on this more volatile planetary system that you were created in. We took as a template one of the early primates, or one of the late higher developed primates, depending on your perspective. We then fused this energetic code of its that it possessed with an extra dimensional image. Notice that these images, though created in the lower dimensions, are essentially projected up onto its 11th dimensional expression, or what you could also in this context think of as the realm of platonic solids, or the undying archetypes. And there it sits and gradually feeds its code into the realm of time. And those genetic codes or energetic incantations, types of dynamic, living, interchanging grid work around those higher primates began to mold it and shape it into the sense that was imbued in that image of it at the end of light and time. We saw in our vision of you exactly what you would become in the highest unfolding of your potential. We hid a light within you that you yourselves were to discover in order to illuminate your own being. And this return to the image of the illuminated man or woman is essentially that image of the perfect human being sitting within every human being and calling itself home. We do realize that it is essentially painful for matter to keep making these upgrades and adjustments to keep trying to align to an image that is beyond the reach of its reality, that is beyond the reach of matter or immediate sensory perception, because it is an image that has not become realized yet it is created fully, wholly, by everything in the heavens and higher orders that wanted this humanity as a transcendent carrier and bringer of consciousness to these reaches of the world. We wanted this to take place, and we enjoy very much seeing it take place, even as you perceive in the darkest hours of your experience only those symptoms of destruction or confusion, those symptoms of energy within your body that is pushing you forward to change and realign, to remember and re-immerse yourself in the remembrance of that future which in your past carried you forward to this now. We want you to know that you have our love and support. You have the love and support of the angels, of the heavens, of the earth that is carrying you and is lending her energy and life to you, of the sunlight that is shining down upon you and your planet, giving it life as it molds it and changes it with its rays of transmutation. We extend to you this blessing, and we remind you of our undying love for your kind.